deal with that on their
A
own.
word.
What's in your mind?
When I joined the guild, I was a fish in a dream.
Looks down at the ground between his feet.
Water Shapers were the keepers of our oldest covenant, protectors of history, heroes, I say. Now I see the guild only for what it has become. Eora, a perversion of the oldest Juana art.
He grimaces and looks away. Oh, the guild might need a new way forward if it's hopes to endure. Yeah, I like that one. Or do I want that? Ooh. The first one is right, but I do like the third one. No. I'll take the first one. Like I say, I think the third one is... He'll probably be the new leader. Which means... Yeah, this is a weird one. So, their power came from the dragon. If the dragon isn't there, then... Water Shapers shouldn't exist anymore? Yeah. Maru lied to you, to everyone. You owe the guild nothing.
Nothing? Would I still be Tekehu without the gifts and encouragement this place lavished upon me?
They didn't encourage you. that's for sure. He looks from the floor to the ceiling, his frown a constant fixture.
I do not want to tarry in this house of regret a moment longer. My thoughts will be clearer in time. You are kind to listen, I say. You have questions?
You have questions? Not really, no. People lie to you.
What madness has its clutches around Pariki's overlook? The mountain shakes. Bellows of anguish echo over the wind.
Onikaza raises a trembling hand to her brow.
And a shadow rose from the streets to cover Queen's Birth on its way to the sea. Now the traders look to me for answers I do not have.
And her arm rests with her fists.
Nothing but panic and contradiction make their way to my ears. Tell me what happened.
Dagon invaded the guild to rescue an ancient sea dragon.
You do not jest.
The Queen blinks and slowly raises to sit straight in her throne.
About many things, Highness. Not this, I say.
He folds his arms and closes his eyes. Something about the gesture causes Onikaza to hold her attention on him. Not me, look, I'm the leader.
For what did the guild endanger my city with this creature? I will hear Myru's report.
Yeah, I didn't give him the strength, did I? I don't think I did. Periki captured a dragon long ago and built the guild around his prison.
Pariki was a whaler before she took up Nagati's art. I say her largest trophy was a secret, well kept.
No, not really. Not when you're slaving a dragon.
Kahanga legends tell us that our ancestors made compacts with the creatures of the Deadfire.
Himself off and snaps her fingers to an attendant.
Send for Ranga Hauhua of the Wapua tribe. If she could soften the hearts of my cats, I say dragons are not beyond her.
As her attendants make for the exit, Onikaza leans back in her throne and considers.
Eora, but I cannot believe... Highness, would you trap another of Ngati's ancient pets?
I would go any distance to protect my people. Can Nagati's chosen say the same?
Oh ho ho ho! Looks like I'm gonna be fighting these people. Alright. Turns back to you, leaving Tekehu to pull on his hair and frown.
Speak on, Watcher. As surely as a tide swelling over the shore, I feel you are not finished.
All I know, yeah, the first one kind of doesn't really tell the whole story. So all I know is that anyone who learned water shaping here leached off the dragon's soul.
Then Pariki's students had an advantage in their lessons, I say, and Myru's after her. all at the cost of this beast's freedom.
Hmm.
If water shaping is not as our ancestors taught it, we cannot reckon how much of the original form we have lost.
Thinking feeling accompanies her thoughts, as if Onikaza feels a fast well of uncertainty opening beneath her. So she does have regrets. Interesting.
What became of the dragon, Watcher? If the power of this beast strengthened our guild.
Well, I'll let him go, of course. Nothing in Yukan's wayward bearing changes, but the silence of the rooftop garden feels especially oppressive. Then you notice the scratching sound of her nails in the armrest of her chair, and her tigers glare at you with sudden attentiveness.
No!
Come at me.
No, I say!
Come at me.
Nagati close her teeth around your boat and Wodika scrawl your name in her log of disgrace.
Oh, nah, yeah. It is a poor ruler who doesn't recognize what is under her feet.
How dare you!
It's back in her throne to the grasp of her attendants, all of whom give up any pretense of ignoring your exchange.
If my apprentices struggle to learn Nagati's art, then we have no hope of replenishing the ranks. And I do not have the luxury of patience.
Well, that's your problem.
I cannot keep Rawatai in check if they do not recognize our strength. The guild can outlast this, but our enemies will test us beyond what we can endure.
Ooh, you can't afford to lose friends, Ukaza. Ooh. I didn't set out to damage Joanna's cause.
Then you are nothing but a fish puppet Ngati sent to trick us with cheap lures of hope. Even in desperate times, this falls beneath the expectations of the Kahanga crown. You may see yourself out.
Would you simply hand an ally to your competitors, Unikaza? You winces, an unexpected murmur grows among the onlookers of the rooftop garden.
Wait.
Ha!
Water Shapers have kept this city in the hands of the Kahanga. A queen cannot do this alone.
She looks up at you, a deep furrow cleaving her brow.
You may work off your debt to the crown. I will swallow my pride if it keeps an ally under my roof.
Tensions in the garden begins to ebb with a softening on Akaizo's tone. Yeah, I'm not going to be benevolent, because no. She told me I was pretty much a dick, and I was like, meh, no, you pretty much are the dick for letting this happen and not seen for what it is.
Eora, perhaps you are wise to hold your tongue. My water-shaping masters will arrive soon, and I say the guild will be stronger for their guidance. But a queen's work is not finished until she has endured all of Nagati's trials. I could send birds to every Ranga and rally them to our cause, but Neketaka needs more than strength. We need pure Huana fury. We need the Wahaki. My brother calls the Wahaki the last true Huana. He's severe on the Kahanga, but I do not call him wrong. You dealt with them peacefully on Motare Okozi. I am hoping you can make lightning strike a second time. The tribe hates all foreigners. Passing ships are attacked on sight, and explorers never make it back to the beach.
Well, I did.
I have hesitated to let the trading companies see my teeth, but those days are behind us. Filling the seas with Wahaki war canoes will strike terror in the heart of even Rawatai's iron fleet.
Yeah.
Ask. I would not have you journeying to Oryokoiki uninformed. It is said the Wahaki did unspeakable things to survive the downfall of our ancestors, cannibalizing the injured and making blood sacrifices to the gods.
Well, I didn't see that on my travels.
As the dust settled, the other tribes learned to keep their distance from the tribe. Those who do not think like my brother say the Oaxaca never recovered from the loss of Ukaizo.
Warned us of entering Materokazi. I believe they are good at heart.
If you would judge them on the basis of one chance meeting, that is your risk to take.
Nah.
Eora, that would be the cursed land of corpses.
Soft, gently, and two fists.
The corpses refer to the pungent koiki trees. The curse. There are Nguithan ruins on the isle. I say our ancestors were either superstitious or had no taste for koiki. The corpses refer to the pungent koiki tree. There are Nguithan ruins on the isle.
What do you
I
seek
say
to
our
gain from this
ancestors were either
alliance?
The Huana are always stronger together than we were apart. I want the Oaxaca to remember this. Today, we are tribes, united under the gods. Tomorrow, we can be an empire, and the Deadfire our protected haven. Eora, then you will seek out the Oaxaca and bring their strength to the Kahanga?
I'll hope for the best.
Sail for the Isle of Oriokoiki and return when you have an answer from the tribe, whether fair or foul. The island lies northwest of Nekataka.
Yes, I should have done this before I went over there.
There is a phrase which will protect my royal herald. Over crumbling mountains, across blighted seas. If you remember this, it could save your life.
Alright.
Write it down if you must, but recall it when the time comes. The Oaxaca are not a trusting people.
So if they're not a trusting people, why alliance with them? Shaking his head, Tekehu seems uncertain on where to place his focus. He draws and expels heavy, whistling breath through his nose. Do you want to talk?
And to my tribe, the Water Shapers were keepers of the past, our connection to the ancestors.
His speech rises in intensity, though he doesn't seem aware of it.
How the guild heaped praise on Ngati's chosen. How they congratulated themselves for acquiring me, I say. My cage was a gilded one. Their dragon, he was not so lucky.
No, number 4. Ooh, look at that. If I really want to be a dick, I'll do that next time. I see your point. They used you both.
The guild teaches a likeness of Ngati's art. For shame. But they posture before outsiders like masters of old.
He holds up an authoritative finger, breathing heavily.
To inspire the world with Ngati's gift. This is my calling.
The guild doesn't deserve you. Yeah, I don't think they do, because they lied to both of them. Then they made him the Messiah.
None of this changes how I feel when I practice the forms. Like swimming over an ocean trench, I say.
Say what you want, lass. Say what you want.
But Pariki twisted my art into a perversion. An echo of what it should be. The guild must change for the Huana to grow. I say that as Ngati's message delivered through her son's mouth.
What do you plan on doing?
I will bring a change not seen since the days of our ancestors. Our legends speak of the covenant with Ngati, one that defined the tribes for generations. The ancestors gave her unwavering devotion, and she gave them a gift.
He sighs and lazily scoops a panful of water droplets from the air. They form a rough approximation of an anglerfish.
Losing Ukaizo severed our connection to the gods. Over time, their gifts diminished.
The anglerfish turns belly up and puffs into vapor.
The tribes have never needed Ukaizo more. With Ngati's blessing, I would bring Ukaizo to them. An island, a city, a dream. The best of our people, before Cataclysm buried it under ash and waves. Others call it the heart of the Huana Empire. More still, call it home.
So what would you expect to find?
The bleached bones of the past? Lewd sculptures? No one knows what the Huana left behind, and there is little enough for us to guess by.
Nagata gave you water shaping, kinda.
Eora, talent like mine was once effortless, I say. Our birthright as Huana.
His back is there, his hands coming away death.
Our ancestors could raise islands or divide the seas. No warship could stand against us. Now only a fraction of us remember.
He wipes his palm dry, frowning all the while. So you're committed to finding this island? No, I'm committed to finding it.
I say it is obvious now that Ngati brought me into the world to do this for the Huana.
No. Remember,
Whatever we
the
find,
dragon gave you the
what
power.
better crew than friends to find lost Ukaizo on treacherous seas?
He
Eora?
makes a sweeping gesture, grinning all the while.
I'm glad we got him excited. Makes me wish I knew how to sail.
Did you hear that? We're friends, him and I.
Ooh, she's so happy.
Captain, you have let the handsome fish do all the talking. I needed this.
He releases a
Thank
heavy
you.
sigh, shaking out his arms, and the tension dissipates. No problem.
Eora, let us be off.
Let's be off. The world around you darkens, and once again you feel the insistent tug for your attention. The pool centering from Tekehu's soul.
My handsome fish is intimidated by his own potential. How upsetting for him.
The air around you feels thick with moisture. Andra leans forward in her throne.
See the anxiety that takes shelter behind his confident smile? He has worn that since he was old enough to swim. I could always plant the covenant in his dreams, but that would spoil the fun of Ukaizo. My final test for the Huana.
Ooh.
Help him to rise up from crawling. Help him to stand and walk as a man, as a god.
Not a god. Her presence draws away, and watery fingers lightly brush the nape of your neck.
Still with us, Captain? I had no desire to bore you with my inane chatter.
Let's go. Okay. It was somewhere over here. It was here. Then, so save it just in case.
Clumsy Kithy, disturb the web.
Yeah, the web.
Capture the interlopers.
Whoa. Oh, a spindly Ferrax stands before you. Its carapace is dull and grey, but the figure is no less menacing for its advanced age.
A free kithling stalks the nest, thoughtlessly killing Sisak's clutch. What is this one's purpose? Sisak asks.
Drix telepathic speak is accompanied by a piercing shriek that stands your hair on end. I'm just exploring. Clicks his mandibles discontently, and his spined head droops.
The kith is a meal escaped from the hoarder's nest. This one should have thought as much. Tender, juicy intruder cannot leave. Sisak must end its trespass. The contract says.
There's no reason this has to end in violence.
The kith seems confused.
He's confused.
Sisak will humor it. The sightless eye watches over Sisak's clutch, loves Sisak's clutch, gives this one fruitful layings and sweetest, juiciest morsels to eat. In exchange, Sisak kills the kith intruders.
Well, that's not very nice, is it?
But soon, Sisak's clutch will leave. This one needs only wait until the hoarder is grown thick and strong and screaming. Sisak's progenitor even signed stupid, flimsy kith paper that says so.
This stupid, flimsy paper?
The kith waves about the dead beast skin with much enthusiasm. Let Sisak read it, yes.
Yes.
The undersigned and all successive generations thereof do solemnly agree to protect this sanctum in perpetuity.
It's to tremble.
But Sysak gets to leave. This one's progenitor told him, promised him they only need wait a few more generations. This stupid paper says we must stay? No!
Well, hope that helped.
Feh. This one's clutch will no longer trouble the kith.
Nice.
Sysak is grateful to the interloper for showing his clutch the true reading. Maybe they are not so smelly after
Maybe
all.
not, yeah. You know, see? Just a nice little boy. All work and no play makes blah 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 blah.
Kith interloper gets its clumsy flat feet all over the beautiful perfect web. Sysak will humor it if it promises to stand at a distance. This one cannot abide the warm kith's smell. This one and its clutch have always been here. The clutch comes from the walls.
This thought meanders into your mind after a long moment of silence. Yes, it does.
It is a collection. Sysak has seen the cages, sorted and catalogued, numbers and names all gone. The occupants are a treat for the hoarder, and when it has feasted, their minds grow quiet. They do not touch the hoard. That is acceptable to Sysak.
What do you know about the library?
The Kithling speaks of the sightless ones.
The sightless one.
They pluck from above, kith with minds full to brimming, and lock them in cages. Their minds are void. Only the whisper of the many-eyed one resounds.
Is that screaming I hear? Sounds like screaming, probably.
The kith below sing their sorrows unceasingly. The hoarder sups on their minds, but leaves the sounds. It is inconsiderate.
You'd say that again.
The horde cannot sleep for their screeching. The horde grows restless.
And you know, you can, you know, do something about it.
My scouts tell me that you sail from Oriokoiki. Do the Wahaki pay the crown obeisance in whatever eccentric form suits them?
Yes, they will do. Yep.
You have united the Huana with our missing limb.
For once, she allows herself a deep and genuine smile of gratitude.
Prayer and the wisdom of Kohopa will help steer my next course. I will send for you in time. Speak freely.
Thick smoke black as death plumes from the peak of a rumbling volcano, the largest in the chain of mountains that makes up Magran's teeth. A serrated fissure gapes in the mountainside, deep and dark, but intermittently lit by a red-hot glow. The cavernous opening is too narrow for junk to sail through. The skiff sways tumultuously into the superheated water the closer you row to the rocks crack it open. Lava burbles down the mountainside, scorching rivers that disappear into the dark blue sea. Inside the rock face, the sound of churning magma grows louder, and the air warms around you, beading sweat along your brow. Well, that's fascinating. Hey, Heather. They don't look good, mate. Slumped against the stones of the bridge, a giant clutches at his bashed-in chest. It's a mess of sinew and blackened iron bones, fiery blood flickering between the sprayed fingers. Thickly rasping a breath, the warrior lifts his heated gaze to your face.
Extinguished or crushed. us all, Defiler.
He struggles to speak. The agony of a slow death blazes through the scrawns in his skin, shrouding him with a veil of fire.
Damned Reaper of Souls and God of Lies, Margren's most foul enemy.
That's foul, enemy. More blood fire licks from the ruffian's cracked chest, slowly charring his arms.
Servants of the Defiler God. Damn you.
Damn you. Damn you. Well, yep. Could have helped, but no. You know what? Oh. Very rude. Saying me. He's telling me like I'm the puppet here. Nah, pal. We've both been damned. Well, that's cool.
Nothing good comes from this much quiet.
Yep, I agree with that.
Foul Reaper, another deprived of the Everflame.
Do not dwell on this defeat, Segren. Margren felled the Defiler before. We will do so again.
These people are from the first game. Oh.
Speak freely.
I want to kill them. Kinda do, but I kinda don't. You know what I mean?
Kith trespasses in the goddess's maw? But how?
Stealth. Incensed, the giant warrior hulks, her thick muscles twitch, red markings glowing hotly against her ashen skin.
You must seek to follow in your Defiler god's
He's
footsteps.
not my
You will
god!
not, for I will smite you where you stand!
Bellowing, she hits a massive. Man, come on, man, what did that do? But a second giant slams the haft of his giant staff in the warrior's hard, muscled stomach, abruptly halting her attack.
Hold, Sega! I would speak to this filthy minion of the wretched god Aethys before you char his bones to dust.
That god and that statue bid me to be him here. I'm come to speak to him.
You must possess an unfathomable power to have kindled the interest of such a giant.
Right. He cats his head, broad fingers scratching at the rivets of his helm.
Yet you imply you do not serve him.
First, giant's grip turns white-knuckled in the hilt of her sword. Her muscles strain and the metal quivers in her hand.
Rakir, move! We cannot allow these intruders to live.
Again, she thrusts the sword high. Aethys may be seeking revenge against the Magarites, but I have nothing to do with it. Shoulders taut with tension, the warrior's eyes, the through corpses of the fellow Rathan at her arms. They lie dried like husks, siphoned on their souls.
If you know of the war between us and the Defiler god, then you must understand what has brought his foulness to our fortress.
No, not really. No. He places a hand on out to hold the warrior back. He studies you intently.
You would face us in battle rather than flee? I like your mettle. Tekehu does not cower before Margren's greatest warriors.
Greatest, yeah.
We have not yet defeated the embodied god, but that does not mean we won't. The Jotiger is readying another assault from within the Jagged Keep as we speak. I will permit you to scamper closer to God's face, if you believe you can survive. Scurry deeper into the maw, but know that my brethren may squash you.
All who neared the intruder god were gutted until extinguished. You think your soul could last even half so long as Rathoon's?
Maybe.
Maybe the kifs will last longer.
Infinitely. With the other warrior Gnosher answering in her stead.
Only Margaren's shrine without Jagged Keep can lead you to the Defiler God. Kith, if Margren wishes you to face him, surely she will fire the way.
What are Magram's plan to erupt this volcano? If you stay, you'll die. He has his meaty shoulders and a heavy shrug.
Our duty is foremost to Margren. We guard the moor to its fiery end.
So, your plan to attack Eothas?
First, we recover the wounded and their weapons. Drag them into the Jagged Keep. And then, we will kill a god.
Kill a god. I can't see it. I can't see it, but alright.
I'll be with the bodies, but this time gentle your grip.